Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today I have the episode 5 overview of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and my goodness, what an episode it was. And unfortunately, no cameo in this episode, so that will have to be in episode 6, or we've been flat out lied to. Anyway, let's just hop straight into the overview, shall we? So, we open up with John on the run from when he committed that brutal murder at the end of last episode, and he is running at full speed, trying to get away from everyone. He then finds this warehouse in a little ravine in Latvia, at which point Sam and Bucky show up. They say, "Yo, John, we need that shield back." John says to them, "You don't want to do this." Bucky says, "Yeah, we do." And then massive fight breaks out. It all ends by Sam and Bucky breaking John's arm, and then he gets knocked out and the shield comes back into Sam and Bucky's possession. At which point, we leave that little scene to go and see Baron Zemo looking over the memorial of Sokovia. At which point, Bucky joins him. Yep, he isn't alone this time. And then, Bucky puts a gun to Zemo's head. At which point, he shoots it. No bullets. But as he does that, the Dora Milaje show up behind him. Yes, I even got my maybe prediction right. Heck yeah. I was very happy about that. Anyway, once that happens, they take Zemo off to one of their Wakandan jets, and Bucky says, "I might need another favour." So he calls that in. Don't know what that will. I know what it could be, but I'll get to that later on. Anyway, once that all happens, we see Sam back in Baltimore to go and see Isaiah once again. Then Isaiah tells Sam what he went through during World War II, because Sam is totally ready to pick up the shield and become the new Captain America. Isaiah does not want him to risk that, because he does not think that the world's ready for a black Captain America. Unfortunately so, because of course what he went through during World War II was horrific. I honestly can't blame him for thinking that way, but Sam completely disagrees. He is ready to take up the mantle, which is a stark change from episode 1, because, you know, he totally gave up the shield. Anyway, so we get that massive scene of him explaining to Sam what he went through during World War II and why he should not take up the Captain America role at all, which Sam completely disregards by the sounds of it. Then we have another Sam little section of the episode, except this time he's back with his family, helping to repair the ship that Sarah is no longer selling. So, woo! Sam then enlists the help of the entire village because they owe his family a lot of favours because they did a lot for him. They did a lot for them when Sam and Sarah were a lot younger, so they had a lot of favours to call in, and Sam pretty much called them all in, which was pretty cool to see. And then Bucky shows up as well to help, because why not? And to drop off his little favour from the Wakandans from earlier on, which is a little black and white suitcase. I think I know what's in there, but I'll get to that in a few minutes. And then throughout this, we see a whole little thing of Sam and Bucky working together on this boat, while also trying to figure out what Carly's next move's going to be. And then that carries on throughout the episode, pretty much. But in between, we get a little couple of breaks. One of which, we see Sharon, back in Madripoor, getting a call from somebody who says, "I need your help." And then, "Okay, I can do this for you, this and this, but don't mess it up." Don't know what's going on there. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. But then a really interesting one happened. John Walker getting a little reprimand from his actions in Latvia, of which his punishments are as follows. 1, he will be stripped of the Captain America title immediately. Once he retires, he will retain no military rank, so he will not be Captain John Walker. He will just be John Walker. So he'll receive no military benefits, nothing of the sort. And then John loses his cool a little bit at the hearing, which I'm not surprised about. And the guy who's reprimanded him said, "If it wasn't for your outstanding record before this, you would have been dismissed from the army." Just saying. So you've got off lightly, son. He loses his cool a little bit, which, again, not surprised about. Once the hearing's over, a woman approaches him and says, "We could use men like you, John," and then gives him a blank business card, which I'm going to assume is invisible ink. And I had one thought when this woman showed up. Are you the power broker? I totally think this woman's the power broker. That could have actually been the cameo, maybe, possibly. But we'll see in the next episode, surely. And then John considers that for a while and thinks about how weird it actually is. At which point we cut back to the whole family repairing, the whole village repairing the boats. We see some more of that happen. And then we cut to Carly, actually, summoning all the flag smashers in New York to her position, which is something that happens a bit further towards the end. We are getting towards the end of the episode at this point, so a lot of stuff's going to happen now. We then cut back to John, who goes to see Lamar's family. Because, of course, Lamar was his best friend in the universe, and his family is probably the closest thing he has to a family left, aside from his girlfriend, of course. So he goes to see them for a little while, then says, "If you need me, I'm always here." He walks out. And then we cut back to the GRC, which is the Global Repatriation Council. Yes, I've finally remembered the name. Yes! We see a massive conference about what they're going to do with all the refugees after the blip. And then the screen, then everything goes dark. And I believe that's where that ends for this episode. That's probably going to be a plot thread that carries on into the next episode. And then the last thing we see is, believe it or not, Sam and Bucky training with the shield. Or rather, Bucky training Sam with the shield. So we see him throw it against a few trees which have some punching bags attached to them as to not slice through those trees. As, of course, Sam isn't exactly used to the shield yet, so we see him throw it against the trees a few times. We see it a ton of times, actually. And then they talk it out for a little while, and Bucky opens up to Sam saying, "Once Steve died, yes, we finally have confirmation. Steve Rogers is dead. Once Steve went, that shield was the only family I had left, and when you gave it away, it broke my heart." Which made me feel really bad for Bucky. I'll be honest, my heart broke. And then Sam says, "I'm sorry, man, I didn't know." So they got that whole heartbreaking scene with each other, which was really, really nice to see. Sorry about the lighting change. The sun's just decided to disappear. Whoops. So we get that little bit, and they say, "We'll go our separate ways for now, but once you get lead on Carly, Sam, call me." And Sam says, "Okay." They fist bump each other. Well, rather, they clasp hands, and then they walk their separate ways. We see a little training montage with the shield once again. Sam massively improving with it, by the way. And then, once he's fully improved, we see him open the case. We didn't see what was in it, but I have a theory. Remember a few episodes ago when I mentioned that the Captain America suit for Sam had been revealed in a toy leak? I think it's the suits. I've got to be honest. It has to be the suits. But yeah, that's the main chunk of the episode done. But then there's a post-credits scene. At which point we see John, who has stripped all of his military medals off his military suit and is making his own shield. I think the US agent's about to be born. Just saying. So yeah, US agent is pretty much right around the corner. Probably going to be in the next episode, which is pretty cool to see. Anyways, that's the whole episode. And that's going to do it for this video, guys. So, as always, people, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to mine and Roxanne's YouTube channels. Her link is in the link tree in the description. My sub button is down there. Yep, that big red one, unless you've already subscribed, and it's grey. Thanks for that, by the way. Don't forget to comment as well, because why not? And let me know what you thought of this episode and how good it was, because oh my god, it was phenomenal. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Stereo. Those links are also in the link tree in the description, along with Roxanne's blog. And lastly, of course, don't forget to share this video with all of your friends so they can join the infinite loop of liking, subscribing, commenting, following, and sharing, and around and around and around that loop. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Goodbye.